All right. So today for Tablebreakers, myself and the friends are going to be discussing crafting items specifically for the campaign that you are running. And so, as it is, I have a few things to say about this, as we all do. And I'm going to turn on the stream, get my cohorts in here. But I wanted to wish everybody a happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. And I think it's going to be a great weekend. Let's start. Introducing Baron G-Rock. Please welcome from Pekin, Illinois, not Kentucky, Connell, the Drinky Drunk, or the Cigar DM. Please welcome from the FedEx driving school of anger and frustration when dealing with senior management. Hi!
Yes.
I was debating between that or a man who spends far too many hours by himself pontificating things he'll never have time to share it all with us.
You're right.
Close friend of ours and now a member of Tablebreakers, our first non-Illinoisan involved with the stream, Mr. Shadow of Shadow and Sun Productions. And please welcome... You're muted, Shadow.
Howdy, folks.
There we go. And from the southern reaches of Illinois to the grasslands of Peoria, please welcome our friend, Jade.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tablebreakers.
This is an interesting topic we were discussing tonight. Custom items for the campaign. You could do it kind of a short way. I don't want to do that. I want to dive into this. I want to get both feet wet up to my knickers. So I want to have my at least mid thigh damp and moist on this, to where the Strippers Guild has to take my clothes and wash them.
And there it is, the mention of the guild.
Oh,
it begins.
First 3 minutes. It begins. So, Garrett, this is kind of your brainstorm, and Jade and you have kind of worked a little bit more on this than I have. I'm going to turn it over to you two to talk about custom crafted items for a campaign.
Well, this kind of came up in one of our discussions and whatnot, so I kind of threw it out there, and then Jade kind of, as he does, picked it up, picked it apart, and ran with it. So
It's what I do.
it's what he does.
I dissect things, break them down to their base components, and rebuild it. I'm an engineer. It's what I do.
We have the technology. We have the 6 million pesos to do it.
So, we're not going to be just speaking about like the world's most popular role-playing game and its many editions. We're going to kind of be agnostic on this, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
We can.
It's not that we're picking on D&D or one of its many fine iterations or derivatives. It's just that we want to speak more to the audience of the craft of the game.
Mm-hmm.
No, exactly. We can mention... Oh, go ahead.
No. Basically, we want to keep it, because a lot of our viewers watch, they not only play maybe D&D, but Pathfinder, World of Darkness, Exalted, one of the many iterations of the OSR, even going back a little bit further, even to first and second edition, D&D. So yeah, that is that's one thing that we want to kind of keep this kind of system agnostic in the fact of we want to be able to use these tips in pretty much any setting that you come up with or any game that you're playing.
Just the tips.
I might mention a few like specific items out of maybe D&D or Pathfinder, or by enchantment names alone. But know that when I conceptualize custom items, I think more broadly than just what enhancements or enchantments it has. So I guess without further ado, whether it's a item specific to your game or story, go ahead and take a drink. Sometimes we want custom items in our worlds or in our campaigns or games. And those custom items should do unique and custom things that players may not be able, to foresee happening. Does a sword that, shines with fire do fire damage? Well, yes. But what else can it do? So, this is going to be the first question of the evening. When creating a magic item, what functions does it serve other than its apparent function? Is it a quest item? Can it be sought, or is it sought by a third party? Does it carry some kind of curse, such as may you live in interesting times? Will the gods take notice if it is picked up? Or is it a key, but still looks like a sword? So when you stick it in people, it might just unlock their death. And to that, I'm going to throw it to the panel. What do you think of as functions other than its original appearance? Or do you? I'm going to start with Shadow. He's right next to me in the panel.
It really depends. For custom items, I usually kind of have a sort of an unwritten rule of level. If we're talking D&D type games, they're not going to find anything that special or spectacular or even unique until between 5th and 7th level. There's so many items. Mind you, I when I play fantasy games, I'm usually going by the original AD&D first and or second edition books, and there are literally my tablet's sitting on the Encyclopedia Magica, which is several thousand pages of pre-made magic items. For the most part, I've got an encyclopedia of standard magic items to use. Once they get past that, I then go to the next sort of grouping, which I have is magic items designed for player professions, whether it be class or what have you, as opposed to actually wasting my time to tailor make something for a specific player. They kind of have to earn that right, as it were. If there's any possibility that they're going to be a temporary player, they're never going to see anything like that. If they make it past the next hurdle, then they'll find more items that are not just obviously a sword can be used by anybody, but I'll start throwing in the better tier magic items that are designed for fighters or wizards or thieves, things like that. The things beyond the basic pluses and potions and scrolls and weaker items. I'll start going into the a good example would be the Rod of Lordly Might. You're all familiar with that one, right?
Yes.
That's the Swiss Army knife for fighters. You give a fighter that at 7th, 8th level, he's really not going to other than armor, he's not even going to care about anything else other than maybe healing, money, and maybe armor if armor gets destroyed or damaged, or depending on the game system, if any of those rules come into play. After that, then if they've sort of earned the right to continue playing, then I'll start thinking about custom magic items, because also I usually don't have the bigger quests start rolling up on them until, let's say, 7th level. I missed anything?
No, I think that's a pretty good answer. I'm going to keep it going Widdershins with Kai.
I'll be really honest. I don't believe in making items for players. I don't. You're living in a world that's big, it's fast. And I'm sorry, we're not playing tabletop Diablo where you go hack down a boss, and at the end of you get the random loot drop off the boss, and now you go get your quest character specific item that's meant just for you, and also you and you and you and you. And I don't believe in that fucking Dungeon Master cartoon bullshit where some guy comes out behind a rock and goes, "Here's your hat, here's your stick, here's your shield, here's your bow, here's your stick, here's another bigger stick, and a unicorn. Fuck it, why not?" And
May I interject?
And you get a cloak, and here's your tailored items that are just for you. No, you're living in a world that's been. So the only thing you're going to get is when you stab a guy, and he drops what his gear was, and you get his gear, and you can go, "I don't like his gear. I'm going to find a way to pawn it off and get money to make my own shit," because this is a functioning world. You're going to have other stuff, but so. And there's going to be enough time for you to find some enough other people, because obviously, remember, we're playing in a role-playing game that allows you to die and then magically have another 10th level character drop into his spot. So you can't say, "Oh no, they're super rare." If I can kill 5 people in 3 sessions and we have 5 more X level characters show up, guess what? The world's populated by people who aren't incompetent buffoons. And so you can find somebody who's a crafter. Good luck. And so, yeah, if you want a custom item that's meant just for you, just special, you're going to make it yourself. And I ain't handing you it. The only thing I'm handing you is the shit you got off of the guy who died. And well, I can't use a giant 2-handed hammer. Well, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you can't use it. Well, I don't need a set of full plate. We already have like 5 of it. I don't care. You killed a bunch of guys with full plate. You get full plate. But I need a +1 set of my cool leather armor. Tough. Find somebody and kill them who's got that, or find a deal. Work hard at it. I ain't giving you anything more than what's in the world. And if you go, "Well, I can learn to use a big 2-handed hammer. I can learn to wear this." And that suddenly I have broken you from your bullshit path of going, "I have already pre-plotted my character from level 1 to level 20. No, because I don't give you your fucking perfect gear that gives you your perfect little build. You don't get anything. So you can't prepare yourself for, well, at 5th level, I'm going to get some gear upgrades that are going to fit me in. Well, you better do some work in character. Well, what do you mean? By the rules I don't give a shit. Fuck off. Fuck you. Don't care. And that's pretty much what it comes down to is I'm not catering to you. You're in a world that you live in a society, you get whatever the fuck it gives you. And if you don't like it, work harder or make it your own.
I love how he said, "We live in a society." Okay, go ahead, Baron. Clip that.
Oh no, that will be uploaded onto his channel within the next couple weeks.
Next couple of weeks. What are you doing?
Well, I've got like 4 or 5 other episodes I'm still going through pulling.
Okay, so the question is to you now, Connell the drunk.
Yeah, that's Bruce's doing. I haven't changed it back yet. Good spirit, being kind.
So, do you craft items for your game or campaign story that might serve a different function than they originally look?
Yes. I sometimes I give them a sword that has a great big orange tiger in the middle of the sword that gives them sight beyond sight. It's called Sword of Omens. No. But yeah,
I mean,
even with the Rise of the Rune Lord that I'm running right now, or something I make, I will make them items that might not do what they think they should do, but they have a purpose, but they don't always figure out what it is as of right now, off the bat. And it's not always a good thing. Giving somebody a gift, Odin gave people gifts too. You don't want Odin's gifts. So I kind of take it from that point of view. Yes, we're talking about Odin, aka Santa Claus, but that's a different topic for a different day. Anyway, so I give them stuff like a book that once you touch a book that's actually part of the Rise of the Rune Lord world as is, that whatever sin is attached to it, it will inflict you. If it is a book of gluttony, you will start eating wrath. You'll become angry and so forth and so on with the other sins. And when you put them together, you get the book of vile darkness, which is not technically Pathfinder, but it's kind of the way I'm leading it.
So
And
wait, you get the experience, or do you just have to watch that god awful movie?
Oh, no, I have yet to bring up the movie. Although I might pull a Bruce and make them go, also Your Highness, almost cause a divorce right then and there.
Wait! Who almost got a divorce in there?
Oh, that was the argument me and Karonda were having on the way home.
She got experience points. I don't see what the problem was.
Yeah, her experience was don't let Bruce pick out the movies, and why the fuck did I go along with you?
Oh, come on. The opening soliloquy of Sir, what's his name, and the dwarves was great.
But yeah, no, with the book of, like I said, using the books, they will collect the books because they have to get them away from the evildoers of the cult. Or I'll make a bow that does not shoot bows. They don't know what it shoots, but it doesn't shoot bows because every time somebody tries to fire from said bow, it doesn't shoot. So I'll do random things in there that actually have a purpose, but the players have yet to figure out what they are. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that definitely answers the building an item that has a function that isn't quite apparent.
Like the Sword of Omen.
I'm gonna toss it over to the Baron G over here.
Well, see, with me, I don't necessarily build the items, but what I do is I look at what they're doing and seeing if it will work. Because sometimes there is that little guy, that little bald-headed guy that comes out from behind the rock and goes, "Oh, you need this club. Oh, you need this bow. Oh, you need a sword. Oh yes, you need this big staff." But the thing is that the one thing that was in there that has stood the test of pretty much any fantasy RPG that I have seen is the cloak. There is not a rogue out there who does not want that cloak of invisibility. And that is an actual pretty much standard item. So why build on crazy things? Now, I may every once in a while have this beautiful, +5 Vorpal sword that is given, but all of a sudden it starts talking to people. Why? Because it's fun. Because why not? And the thing is, it's not necessarily building an item for the character. You're more of building an item for the world when you're doing this. So giving them that sword of that +5 sword of Vorpal, and it talks to them, could mean that, and it's part of the story, that it eventually takes that character over, or that it might actually give the character some insight into a situation that maybe they didn't realize was going on. So tacking on little things onto it, I don't consider that necessarily crafting. That's just, throwing a little extra, little extra sauce on the entire, meal right there, But, sometimes, passing out those products like that, especially a hat, where you can pull pretty much anything out of. Because truthfully, when I was playing and we didn't have a rogue. That was I love that hat of many things copper because I pulled out small furry animals and threw them down a hall just to see if there were freaking traps because we didn't have a rogue to go disable that shit. So we just sit and throw little furry bunnies, little chipmunks, little rabbits, and they all explode in grandeur and they feel nothing, but they have PTSD now for the rest of their lives. Did that
Well,
answer your question?
unless they come from Jade's campaign, because with him summoning nature's ally, you can actually get a real deal, right there, boss.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a bit. Bruce. So, you have magic items in your world. Do you ever put specific magic items in the world?
I do, but I rarely.
We're in the mood today.
Blue whale. As I blue whale that one out, I'm going to just say that the special items in my world are typically there because there was a player in the world previously that had a character, and I do something that riffs off that character or off an anecdote they did. And that's like I might have like a ring of Bilious Maximus's ring of wizardry, which doubles all your evoker spells from first to third level. Or I might have something like Rolando's Happy Mace +2 of smiting. Or I might have something of a sort like that where people that have played with me before, they'll have like callbacks to an old campaign. And if a bard is in the group, not trying to sell people on bards. Let me get this front and center. I'm not trying to advertise or say bards are anything special with me. They're not. They're full of hit points and blood loss. But I'm going to say that a bard would probably be helpful because that would be something that could jar the memories of the people seated at the table. And like, remember that guy that tried giving everybody a hug after being in the game for 2 hours, and then I drove him home and blocked his number and everything blocked on Facebook and off the Yahoo search group that we found him on and such. Remember that? Yeah. That's what this magic item calls back to. I do things like that.
That's
Before we go
horrifying.
further, I just got to say hi. We've got some people in the chat. Edge of Time, Travis J, 1975, and the Stream Element Spot. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for working. And Thurston Howell, number 4, the rule of cool. Always remember the rule of cool. You don't have to abide by it all the time, but it's nice. Hello, Green Apple. Okay, yeah, but most of the common magic items in my world are typically unimpressive magic items. If you find a magic item that you have to tune yourself to, it takes a few days or whatever, like however many days the caster level was.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. What? CL was 14. What? You got to wear this for 14 days.
9 days. On the ninth day you die.
That's for your boots.
Yeah.
But for
No,
this-
the bitch of the matter was not the 9 days of waiting, but when it finally kicks in, my character dies.
Well,
That's just some rotten
Guys,
luck.
Don't die.
there's a get good statement in there somewhere, but I'm not gonna. Anyway,
Get good, you scrub.
yeah, I was gonna go there, but I'm like, no, pull back, Bruce. Don't be so vicious.
Don't
And
worry,
then
I'll go there.
You followed it up, Jade. You completely Gilbert Gottfried that. Thank you. We miss you, Gilbert. I got to say that I think it's important to have callbacks to your old campaigns, not like because you'd rather sit around and reminisce about old table times, but you do want to have like a sense of time has passed. And by having it based on a player or a player character that was at your table that other people remember, that will give them something more to adhere to Like, oh, okay, that's kind of awesome. Or like, if you find Robert's robes of the wizard, like you suddenly become a wizard with like amazing mathematical skills, and you lose points in charisma because Robert is great with math and he's horrible with trying to talk to people. I love him, but anyway, that sort of thing. And his
Okay.
wizards were really fucking good.
Robert?
That kind of
Yeah.
gets into the second point of game specific or campaign specific items. Is the item spoken of in Legends? Can its abilities be unlocked by researching its lore? These kind of things. This is the second question I normally ask when I'm coming up with magic items for my own game or stories. Do you guys have any experience with past game players or games where items have come back from the proverbial past to make an appearance again? And this time I'm going to go, well, I guess clockwise. I'm going to start with Bruce and work my way around again.
I've not had a campaign where we picked up an old magic item or old relic from a previous game, but I've had games where we've adventured and players had played through the module before and they're playing a different character, and so they try to use Oct knowledge and out of character knowledge, and I slap them down for that, remove the magic item from that campaign location, and don't let them have it. But I'll give them something like, you found an ever-smoking bottle, or you found a decanter of endless water, and you don't know what the command word is. Great. This dungeon will flood within the next 2 hours. I'll do things like that because some players I have, they just don't want to be completely honest with me all the time, and so it's like, wait, why are you going in that? Why are you spending so much time in this 15-foot section on the map? I just think there's something here, and they're probably on their phone looking at the module as we speak, or looking at their old campaign notes from back whenever I ran it in 2006 or 2008, and they're like, it's got to be here somewhere. No. The only thing you found is a old bee's nest with a bunch of bees in it. Have fun.
Oh, bees.
Not the bees. Not the bees. Ah.
All right, Baron G. Do you ever use legendary items?
I don't, but I use former characters. So, like we were talking about when our campaign of Rise of the Rune Lords, I will use our mage Talathiel, who was our crafter. He has been the patron in several of my games. He's not necessarily the nicest guy at times, but he is their patron. And if they start asking stupid questions, he will slap them down and say, "I'm not going to answer that stupid question." I've also, I even to the fact of I actually adopted a couple from Bruce's game. One of them being his former friend who passed away, and everything. I didn't personally know him, but the character was so amazing that I keep it alive in my games because it's a phenomenal character. I've also used him as a patron a few times. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use those characters as patrons, and I will kind of do the same thing that Bruce does, is that all of a sudden you have a few callbacks to past campaigns. In fact, I have a friend of mine who runs Exalted for us. Most of us here know who he is, and he will just, when you're doing something, he will just make a comment of passing by that you've heard rumors of 4 or 5 people up to the north or down to the east or something like that on a special mission, and they're going and doing things, and then we all look at him and go, really you're going to bring that up, because it's most of us at the table, we're in that game. And it's one of those kind of like, are you effing kidding me moments, when you look at it. But I mean, sometimes I will bring back some items, but I mean, like I said, they're mostly base items. I don't actually like the grand aura of no, it'll be they'll find base items, and it's the same. Maybe sometimes it's the same base items they found in a campaign I ran a few times ago. You never know.
Would you ever find in Baron's world the flaming sword of fire?
That thing has been destroyed. It was thrown into a volcano.
Okay.
Bastard.
Sounds like there's a story behind that one.
My character got turned into a bunny, all right? Because the sword started to take me over. But it was a pretty sword, and I liked the sword. It was my friend. It used to talk to me. And then bunny.
Okay.
And Bruce loved it because I was totally playing into starting to be taken over and possessed. And he told me afterwards, he's like, that was really good. I didn't even have to prompt you or anything. I said, I know, right?
That's what we want.
All right. Connell, the John Belushi of DMing. Do you include legendary items or items from previous games?
Well, legendary weapons from previous games. Yeah, as I've said, I ran Rise of Runelord a few times. If somebody in a previous campaign made something that was kind of nifty, I might kidnap it and throw it in there. Might twist it a little bit instead of or I've been in other people's campaigns and they've had magical traps or things of randomness that I thought were kind of cool. For example, Bruce did this to one of his players. That was she went to go look at the trap. Well, yeah, she went to go check out the chest. The chest was a trap. The trap went off. It pulled her in, and it came out as a he. So I have used that once or twice, and
3 times a lady.
Yeah, yeah. So it just depends on how much the players piss me off that day.
To make your saving throw. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, she could have made it if she rolled better.
Years later, Bruce is still apologizing for it.
Oh, I'm not.
Or I mean, there's been campaigns that I've made magical items in, and I would love to get back to at least that world, even if it's a couple hundred years in the future, and reclaim a magical item that my character build. Saint Darian built that is now corrupt. I think that would be a fun campaign to untaint that weapon of choice. But I think having legendary weapons from previous campaigns as being a hook could be really fun. And you don't even have to be lazy about it. You could take the base weapon and just change it because the weapon might have evolved over the years. It might have been a +2 weapon when at the very beginning. Now it's a +3 with ghost touch. The problem is you got to be a ghost to touch it, or whatever. So I know. Yeah.
Those words don't mean what you think they mean.
They mean exactly what I mean. Don't argue with me.
All right, Kai. Do you use legendary items from other games or previous games? And how?
Yes, immensely. Now, mind you, I go at it from the idea that if you want a legendary item or an artifact from an earlier game, you need to do some work, like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade levels of work. So it's like, if you want the legendary sword of the last Empress of the Third Imperium, you better do some work to track down its last location and how it moved from that point and that point and that point. If you want it, you need to work. So it's like, and not just a simple, I'm a bard, I roll my magic bard powers, and I made bullshit up, and now the world works better because I heard some bullshit, now I'm smart. And we need to go that way because bard power said so. No, I mean, you need to go and put boots on the ground, fly on a chicken-ridden tri-motor over some mountain ranges, and if you want it, you need to earn it. You need to go after it. And if it may have to equate to you racing a bunch of evildoers to go get the cool artifact, and if you are too lazy to have realized that I'm going to crib from Romance of the Stone or every other adventure thing in the universe and go, GM, what do we do? And I'm like, nothing. You get nothing. You're not thinking. You're not having fun. You're not realizing that I'm trying to run an action adventure, archaeological thing where you're going to have to fight off some shit as you do this and make it a cool adventure. But because you're always wanting to sit there and wait for me to spoon feed you something, you get nothing. Sorry.
No, sir. You get
Wait, hold on. But most of the people you DM for weren't even born when these movies were made. Their parents might not have been born.
Unlike certain people, not everyone is an uneducated simpleton who has no class or culture.
That's fair.
Plus, if you blink on any cable station, you're going to watch Indiana Jones.
Romancing the Stone, man. Romancing the Stone, not to mention the sequel. Jesus.
Right.
Our
That is-
Quartermain.
But the thing here is that, oh no, I don't give a shit. But if you sit there, and if I literally place for hey, somebody mailed you a book. It is the map to cool artifact. Or some player goes, man, you know what I would really like to have? A really cool sword. I want a cool sword. I'm going to research where cool swords happen. And I'm like, if you
Where
don't
they
want to,
happen? Where they happen?
yeah, what was that?
Where they happen?
Yes.
Yes, it's a place. It's a little place. They get together. You have one sword and another sword, and they kind of rub up against each other, and they have a happy little dagger.
So when a boy's sword and a girl's sword really love each other?
Oh yeah.
It's not necessary.
The thing is that when you have a world where there's a lot of legendary cool artifacts out there, and it's like, because you have thousands of years of history, many master crafters, heroes of plenty to fill books, and all of them had cool stuff. And you're like, can I have cool stuff? No, because everybody in those books did something to earn their cool weapons. What are you going to do to earn your cool weapons? Wait for one to get thrown at me and fall and wander into my hands, and I'm like, what are you? Are you using walk into a cave and having some old man going, it's dangerous out there. Here's an artifact. Yay! No,
It's
no,
not safe to go alone.
it's dangerous to go alone out there. Here's a kitten. That's all you're getting out of me. Now you're out alone. The kitten's there. And when you're starving, in the bottom of a cavern, it's an emergency ration.
When it comes to the two swords, they not necessarily have to love each other. I'm just throwing that out there.
This is that cool items, cool
I
swords.
was going to say when a mommy sword and a daddy sword, but
Yeah. But the thing it really just comes down to is there's so much stuff out there. If you want something amazing that happened before, don't just depend on, hey, walk over to our bard. Be useful for 2 seconds. Tell me where to go. And the bard, I have brain damage. I heard of a cool sword, and that's where the bard's uselessness goes. If the bard is thinking he can be cool, but let's be honest, most people don't play intelligent bards. I have encountered like 2 in my entire life of bards who are worth 2 shits. And they stand out, but most of them are worthless. I rolled bards.
Bards stopped being cool in first edition.
Bards
So the
are
second
never
edition came.
cool. It's like the old 4chan meme. It was never cool. It's,
I
and
don't know. First edition bards were pretty badass.
yeah, but you also needed stats. You also needed stats that made a paladin cry and to like.
No, not
Yeah,
really.
you just need better than everybody else's stats to play one. That was cool.
In first edition, you
No.
need to be like a some odd level fighter. Had to go thief after that, and then you had to go get trained by a druid on how to cast spells.
You know that multi-classing bullshit that people from the second edition don't like?
It was a first
Here is
edition.
that- okay, so
It
you
was
need
in
a
the
good caster, good physicals, good this. Like suddenly you're going, man. I hope I rolled good, so I'd be a confident, amazing character rather than just mediocre at everything. But wait, you're a bard. You're mediocre at everything. But still, we come back to I have.
No, not really. Not really. 15 strength,
Okay,
12 intelligence. That was it.
if you were rolling the classic way of playing, not the 4d6 drop the lowest, no 3d6 play it as you roll. You're hoping for the magic lineup, so that way. Okay, so I have a good dex, good strength, good con. Okay, cool. I'm an actual. I can do this. I can do this.
315s and you're in.
Good. How often do you get 315s off 3d6? We're playing first edition. We're going for old school way of doing this shit. So
You could also do 46 as per the DMG.
right, but not very often is this coming up. But hey, still, yes, there's a mountain of artifacts out there. They're just buried in the sands of time. You just got to go out there and I don't know, work. Or wait for me to go, well, shit, you're all useless, and the Nazis got the cool magic item. Now they're going to use it to beat the crap out of all of you. Wait, how did they get? Because you guys missed every single clue. The clue flew over you about as I threw you a fucking clue bat, a baseball glove, and a fucking interceptor missile to ship down your clue, but you just ignored all of it. Now the bad guys have it. Now you got to fight the bad guys with the cool item. And now, after you've murdered the bad guys, but half of you died from it, now you can have the cool artifact that I wanted you to have a while ago. Thanks. Oh, and the entire town is now dead. How do you feel? We got a cool sword. That's bravo, guys. Bravo.
I feel a little gassy.
But hey, as long as the players get their little reward at the end for being heroes and you pat them on the head saying, your kill count was amazing. I'm sure the Warkheim's trial later for you being incompetent assholes will be wonderful. Go, swing your sword, be heroes. We're heroes! Yes, you are, kids. Yes, you are. Meanwhile, that one player, could we have stopped all of that? Yes. Had you just follow LeVar Burton's advice and read a fucking book.
Reading Rainbow.
Okay, so Shadow. Legendary items from previous games making an appearance in your current games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. Mind you, most of my games are, I'm not going to say I push them past the early levels to get there, but my players will see, whether they know it or not, artifacts, relics, or even just, not necessarily minor, but mid-range magic items that belong to other people, villains, monsters, things that are historical, all the time. A lot of times they won't know it, and I don't really go into that, and tell them, oh, this belonged to, my friend, Alex, and now, you have it. I won't do that. I'm not going to, bring up old players because that's just something I don't do. And I will, there are lots and lots of artifacts and relics that people have heard of. Occasionally I will tell stories while, when the players, I'll do that Aragorn thing when the players are camping out and someone will start telling a story, and I'll let them think that oh, maybe this magic item is coming up, but it's not. It's just one of those stories, kind of like a red herring. But sometimes, if they are actually, looking for a specific item, there might be a chance that someone knows a legend of it that's not the players, and I'll go ahead and tell them, the story of, Black Razor or something like that. If that is in fact what they're looking for, and then they may actually find the artifact or relic, and it doesn't always have to be a weapon. There are a lot of items in my campaign worlds that are incredibly powerful, but they aren't technically weapons. They may not even do anything whatsoever that's offensive, but in a political situation or in an economical situation, they may be, incredibly powerful. For example, something that maybe, like, you guys probably remember the ever full purse that just keeps popping out, money every day. Well, there are other items that I have in my campaign that instead of producing gold, they'll produce something else, maybe a specific kind of gem, random gems, or even there's a very famous item from Arduin that every once in a while I'll throw out, called the Silver Chalice of Light. Every day it fills up with a liquid. If you drink that liquid, you will not die that day. 24 hours complete, you will not die. Doesn't mean that something else bad won't happen to you, and it doesn't mean that you can get away with walking into a volcano. You may go unconscious because of it, and then the next day no one went into the volcano to rescue you, so you die the next day. But there are items like that in my campaign that aren't just weapons or rods and stabs and wands, offensive magic items of great power. Sometimes those are the best. Especially for like long-term games. If it's just hack and slash kind of a party, they really won't care about the other stuff.
Sure. And see, I run a lot of the same world. I don't really branch out beyond that world often. So I use a lot of items that were created by previous characters or players at the table as legendary items. They might have a bit of a lore or history. They might have certain custom powers or abilities that the magic item, that it may or may not have had in its original creation. But there's always going to be keys or methods to unlocking those powers. Most times in the legends or lore around the weapon. These are the questions I normally ask when placing items in a game or story. So the next item I have on this agenda is, or at least the next question I ask myself when creating and placing these magic items is, does it have our world mythical equivalent? And what I mean by that is it like Excalibur? Is it like Mjolnir or Masmoon or Kebolg? Is it based on one of those legendary items of our own world, from our own, histories? Can the players make assumptions, right or wrong, about this item? Let's say they pick up a katana and they believe it to be the Masmoon, but it's truly the Muramasa. If the players are making assumptions, that we didn't plan for, should we take advantage of that? And the answer is typically yes, because then we can expand upon them. So I'm going to start at the top row with Connell this time. Connell, do you ever bring in magic items from our world or based on magic items or mythical items from our world into the game?
Yes, I have definitely brought in Odin's spear a few times. I don't really do anything on the nose as much as I say Thor's hammer or yes, other Norse gods did have their own weapons. And Thor wasn't the only person who had the special hammer. Odin has spear, Loki had daggers, and so forth and so on. And
Also had a magic helmet.
He did
He
have a
also
magic
had
helmet.
he did, yeah.
Spirit magic helmet.
But I'll use the spear. I'll have like they have to collect. Somebody. I always want to quote Doc Holliday. I'll be your Huckleberry. Anyways, scandals of throwing. Yes, scandals of throwing. Was
They're
definitely
airborne chunkless. Airborne chunkless.
Oh God. No.
Spear long. Jesus. Okay.
Spear
Anyways,
Longinus.
go back to your question. But yeah, no, I'll bring in legendary weapons of our world into the campaign if it fits. It's like the Wrath. Let's say the Rune Lord of Wrath. I'll change out her sickle for Odin's spear because Odin can be wrathful. Odin didn't put up with much shit, and so I'll just change it out, and so just A, to make the game a little bit more interesting, and B, for the third or fourth time running it, you got to change certain things out or you'll start to go batty. But it really has to fit the story. I mean, if the item does not fit the story, if it's a real life one, but not real life, but real life mythical weapon, I will not bring it into the campaign if it doesn't make sense. I was joking around with my daughter about the magical cloak. There is no, the magical cloak from Harry Potter. And she's like, well, Harry Potter was a wizard. I'm like, no, he spent the first 5 levels being a rogue, then he became a wizard. And so I'll make jokes about that, but I'll add them into my campaign. Like, yeah, there has been a cloak of magical, there has been a cloak that had invisibility that a person can't just like magic off somebody else, or it was just immune to most things for some odd reason. So, but it has to fit the story. I mean, Brink, I said story, 4 times now? So that's my answer.
Okay. I'm going to go down on the bottom row to Shadow.
That's easy. No, never.
Never?
9,
Never.
9,
Don't
9.
It's almost 10.
Yeah, all my worlds are mine. There is no Earth. You'll never find Earth. There's nothing similar in most respects. I don't use Thor. I don't use Odin. I don't use the gods. I don't use mythology. I make the crap up, or it's just not me. Not my style.
All right, I'm going to bounce back up to Bruce then.
I keep going back to the fact that all of us seem to be honoring the players that played with us before, or most of us do, which is fine. And I think for the players at the table, whenever we're sitting there, we're not really, we're focused on having a good time in the game, Jade. But I think a lot of people sit down because they want to feel like they did when they were 12 and open up a magenta box again. And that's
Old Vay.
Yeah, they're kind of going into that, and I'm continuing my answer from last question before I get to your current question here.
Sure.
The reason why we are doing that more and more, it seems like, is that as years go on, like all the friends you had that you gamed with, like they might not be here anymore. I mean, it might be just a phone call away, or just dial them up on Discord or what have you, or they are actually off of this plane. They've passed. And so a lot of us will try to play these old games and try to honor the spirit of our brother or deceased uncle or deceased friend who, whatever ill befell him or her. And so we're going back and doing that. And it's a good way to honor that. And a lot of the people that are at your table, if they had the same experiences with that character, they're probably going to have they're probably going to remember some good times, and you're going to just probably have a few minutes where you just kind of sit there and smile thinking about old memories. And for the new guy, it's going to be a little awkward. Sorry, kid. Did Shadow just He'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah. I'm sure it's
Right.
internet trouble.
Yeah. Between him and Joe from Biggest Geek is. So I'm just saying that a lot of us are looking forward to being reminded of when times might have been better for us, or maybe we had less responsibility because we were kids, and that might be one major aspect of this hobby. I think that really falls for some of the people at my current table right now. I'm just saying that. Um, I'm sorry. Your question was what, sir?
So the third part of whenever I'm placing a specific item into a campaign, the third question I ask is, does it have a real world mythical origin or counter or
Does it have a callback to some of the real world?
yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
I would say the callback. I kind of answered it because the callback is typically based on something or someone that we played with at the table beforehand. Welcome back, Shadow.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened.
It's all right. The digital internet sometimes gets a little fuzzy and analog. That's cool. And you got Thurston Howell over here. He's thrown out all the bad relics that you don't want to have in your game, but they're going to get the belt of spanking, the candle throwing, the deadly chunkless, spear of Longinus, guaranteed to make one legend turn into a religious figure the rest of his life. Self-select switch. The wooden spoon of wrath, plus 7th versus toddlers.
They all have the same theme, I noticed.
Yeah, they do. I think all these callbacks though are mainly for the fact that we want to honor the people that have been in our games more than anything else. And there are some DMs that do want to have callbacks to like Greek mythos or their Roman ancestry or things like that, but it feels like it's getting less and less.
I actually have the exact opposite. If people leave my game, I turn them into pariahs.
For a moment there, my brain made you say piranhas, but then I heard pariah. Okay. Brett turns into Brett can devour a cow in 2 minutes. Sorry. The speed of cow devouring determines how hungry the species is.
Okay. Well, I guess with that, I'm going to bounce back down to Kai. Legendary items that have real-world mythical counterparts.
I'll be brutally honest, I really don't. Only because of the fact that almost every magic ability that an artifact, mythologic, that some real-world weapon has become a trait that you just put on a weapon. Is it a legendary sword that manages to cut through gemstones and metal as easy as cloth? That would be considered a sword of sharpness in some books. We already have that. My hammer, I throw it and it comes back. That's returning. My spear that will stab and hit anyone, no matter what my skill level is, and the skill and ability of the wielder. That's True Strike. That's a weapon that has True Strike on it once or twice a day. Cool. I mean, when you can literally, like, my sword's on fire, that would be a sword that has elemental fire damage attached to it. And they're like, but that's a cool magical, that's like one of like 5 magic abilities my sword's got. Oh. This sword is, I understand. It's a lightsaber. It's brilliant. I know it's a lightsaber. Okay, just get over it. But like, this sword's got like this arrow. This arrow I fire, it kills people. Yeah, that's a Bane versus some target. I know. This sword causes you to bleed until. Yeah, I know. It's a wounding weapon. Wait, but that's all the historical and but this sword makes it really cool. Yeah, I know it's got this cool thing on it that makes you, it's got leadership on it, and that's what it is. Oh man, it's like we've literally digested down every historical artifact, magical weapon down to it's the wizard had lightning. I had lightning memorized the day I was having this forge, so the spear that supposedly is awesome artifact that would be inspirational in Chinese mythology is actually just that thing I enchanted that I had the wizard enchant my spear to have because I had a +2 modifier and I wanted it to be only a +1 to hit, so I wanted some shocking damage attached to it. Meanwhile, it's like in some other world, in our world with mythology, oh shit, that warrior came down and his spear crackled with lightning, and you're sitting here. It's a +1 enchantment. What? Literally, it's a +1 enchantment. But it's what it is. I'm sorry. I'm going to demystify your entire thing when literally you walk down the street and, well, it's special, right? Yeah, you're right. And the villain that we fought last week had a magic item, and the villain we fought before that had a magic item, had several magic items, and then this other villain we fought, yeah, he was dual-wielding cool magic items, and this other one, yeah, he had like a staff, and what Merlin had, yeah, he had like that. And we had like 4 of them over here. We built a tent out of them. What?
Was that the TP of the Magi?
Yeah. Well, why? We've killed enough bad guys now. Like we have enough stabs of that have light on them that we literally just use them to prop up our tents, guys. That's what we literally use them for. And the fighter, he has El Cid's he has El Cid's 2 legendary weapons. One of the masters of Spanish myth. He's got a lawnmower made out of his swords. Wait, what? Yeah, 2 of them. He's got 3 of them, so he's got a rotating blade and everything. It's like his grass, his yard has never looked better. And that's literally how why we killed 14 orc war bosses, and all of them had masterwork or magically enchanted weapons. Literally, we walk around and it's like our average day that we go out and go fight, we're 8th level guards. Well, the elite guards show up and they're all decked out in magic items. You're sitting here going, everyone's fucking decked in this shit. What should be, oh shoot, the legendary warrior of Ireland walked out there with his cool ass spear, and everyone's got this shit because everyone at level 3, everyone at level 3, level 4 has magic items. That thing that should be legendary and mythological, yeah, no, everyone's got one. Just get used to it. That's just literally what gaming has become. Oh, but wait, we have scrolls don't even get there. Our mage over here, when he's bored, makes a scroll so that way we have backups. I'm bringing back the dead. Our cleric does that 5 times a day. Wait, what? Yeah, I don't bring mythology because I can literally give you a price tag on 3/4 of all mythological items, and it won't take me very long to open up the book and go, this ability, this ability, this ability. Yeah, I know that legendary sword of Excalibur. It's only about a 15 grand weapon. If you put a down payment on it, we'll have one for you in about 5 weeks. But it's Excalibur. I know. Do you want a better version? We'll get you. You can wait a month and we'll get you a better version than what Arthur had.
There actually is Excalibur version 2 in the Encyclopedia Magica.
Yeah.
They actually have 2 or 3 versions of Excalibur, and they'll tell you what version it is, which is funny.
I know, but the thing is,
and while I've got Kai here ranting on this, I've got to pay the bills.
Bruce?
All right.
Bruce?
Yeah. Paid promotion from Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee is your favorite coffee that you have yet to try. And this is the flavor of the month, Huckleberry, which has a little bit of a kind of a tartish, bitter flavor to it. But it's really weird because when you start to brew it up and you grind those beans, you get the wonderful blast in the face from the grinder of that wafting, oh my, I'm going to have a good day. And then you start to brew this, and it smells really delicious. And what better person to preface this by having Kai go on a 3 and 4 minute rant about how your generic magic items are really no good to us, but we will buy them anyway. And I just thought that was perfect, Kai. Thank you so much for helping me pay this. I'll put the link in the chat for this wonderful Huckleberry blend. There's a discount code if you want to try it. These are out of Florida, so literally you are brewed coffee from Florida, man, and you can't get that in any other high quality stream. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Kai. Continue. Hey, Kai. What was that? What was that one sword that you handed out once, and the player was nonplussed?
Oh God, I've handed out a few nonplussed items like that. Oh wait, no, I handed out a crystal sword once that was designed to kill demons, where I literally just stole it for something else, and my player was like, "Wait, but my character isn't designed to fight demons." I'm like, yeah, well, you found a crystal sword. It kills demons, and it purifies corruption and taint. You shouldn't get rid of it. I don't want this. This isn't for me. And then he just pawned it off to somebody else in the party, and that player and like one other person in the party goes, "I have no idea when we're going to fight a demon that's got. I fight demons and corruption, but I think if the GM's actually giving us something, we should probably keep it." And later, I'm like, I'm going to so punish that player who just gave up that cool item. Because, well, yeah, literally I gave it to you as a reward, and you decided to rebuke me. See, this is what set me off on my quest of I'm never going to give anybody any items as rewards anymore. That's tailored to them, because it was supposed to be a cool plot point, and then he's like, I don't want this. This isn't what I want. And I'm like, I'm going to ensure that I never make this mistake again. None of you will have anything that's good for yourselves anymore. You will just adapt to the world. You will go to the army surplus store, buy your surplus shit, and go have your adventures. That's all you're going to get. Can I have custom? No. Well, yes, you can. But remember the black market rule. You're either going to have it fast, cheap, or reliable. Choose two. But I want custom. That's it. That's bonus, motherfucker. That's bonus. And start pulling out the well. Its market value is this, but you're rich. I'm marketing it up. Do some work for me, and I'll drop the price tag for you. But yeah, because that one player decided to be nonplussed about it, I decided that no, I'm not going to give out custom shit anymore to anybody ever. And it's been a couple decades now. It's worked out pretty good because most players are actually happy when they get some random loot and they have no idea how they're going to use it. But they're going to adapt to the randomness that I just gave them. And they're like, so it really is like going into a military surplus store and being like, what's on the rack? The guy behind the counter who's not letting you anywhere near the weapon racks is sitting here going, just dig through it. Dig through it and find something. Crap. This one doesn't smell bad. This one's attacked, guys. Buy that one. But grab it quick before somebody else does.
Okay, I think the only person who didn't get a chance to answer on this one was Baron G.
I don't even remember what the question was.
So the question was
went off on the tangent of wee.
Kai just hates custom crafting because one player decided to just go I don't need that. But no, so the three main questions I ask myself, when I'm custom crafting an item for the game, not the players, the game, is what function does it serve other than its apparent function? Is the item spoken of in Legends, or is it a legendary item from a previous game? 3, and this is the one we're on. Does the item have a real world mythical equivalent? So again, Excalibur, Mjolnir, Mass Moon, Cloud of Bulg.
No, but there is always at least a few druids that actually have a shillelagh. That's it.
Always the shillelagh.
Always the shillelagh. And whack him above the head and arse and send the people on their way.
Oh,
That's exactly.
that older route.
Yes. But basically, yeah, no, none of that stuff exists because for the simple fact of those gods don't exist in my world. Why would the weapons exist?
Well, I
That's
didn't
just
say
stupid. No, no,
I
no,
didn't
no,
say
no, no,
specifically those weapons. I meant
no. But
a mythical equivalent.
okay, but still, well, I mean, the gods have their own weapons, and those, I guess, kind of exist, but the players never see them because they're the gods, and the gods typically, talk through their voice boxes, so to speak, which is, oh, they're paladins and priests, and they don't, they're too good to come to the landscape to actually, talk to the run of the mill minions, and because they're just too busy, too important. They have stuff to do, and but I mean, their weapons of legend are there. People try to recreate them. Of course, they're not going to be as powerful as the god's weapon because it's a god's weapon. So I mean it's, you can get it to a point, but unless you can channel that godly faith into it, you're not going to, the godly powers, you know give it that itty bitty living space that it needs to be directed through a weapon. Then no, those aren't going to be around. Those aren't going to be anywhere near what the players are going to have. As Kai is going, excellent. I'm turning him. I'm already turning him. I can see the smirk. It's okay.
But what if the weapon from the god was stolen?
Well,
How would that
what
ever
if
happen?
the shillelagh got
It's
shoved
happened.
up your backside?
It's
What
definitely
happened if a
happened.
shillelagh got? What happens if a shillelagh got shoved up
No,
your
no. Let
backside?
me finish this. Let me answer this. How does it happen? Loki's.
This isn't Percy Jackson.
No, Norse mythology. Loki has stolen Thor's hammer more than once.
Because Thor's dumb enough to leave it to
It's
where
usually a-
Loki can pick it up.
I mean, we also have the hand and eye of Vecna. Why would Vecna have misplaced its own hand and eye?
I don't think he misplaced them. I think they were hacked off. How you hack
Who
off
knows
an
where
eye?
they're at?
But there's still items tied to a god. Why would the god let their hand or eye out into the mortal realms? I mean, other than to
Exactly.
cause absolute mayhem, destruction, and chaos.
Hell,
And that's only and
I didn't
that's
think Vecna was still walking around without his hand and eye. I thought he was trying to reconstitute himself by
no,
the
he's
fact
back.
that those pieces were. So he's walking around without a hand and an eye, letting somebody else walk around with his hand and eye.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense.
To the mythos, yeah.
yeah.
basically
Not
he's
in-
he's in a picture. He's in a picture, and he's really trying to reconstitute himself. So people are just pouring water on him, so he can kind of get poofy again.
Sky, we're no longer in first or second edition. We're now in kindergarten. I mean, fifth edition. Stories do move on.
Not here.
Well,
Okay.
unfortunately, this is Illinois where time did not forget. It just mulled over.
So
No,
that was
over.
my intent for the first
I know what it
part
says.
was to discuss items that we place specifically in the game to enhance the story or the game itself, to give the game a item with a purpose. That was my intent. The second part is more custom tailored items for players specifically. So when creating items for players specifically as rewards, I typically ask again 3 varying questions to make these items. Is there something that the character seems to be missing or that is preventing them from succeeding in their goals? Is it because the player, is the block or the what's preventing them from succeeding player related? The actual player doesn't know this concept, or a lack of knowledge or understanding, or is it a lack of proper equipment? And then, if it is a lack of, equipment or gear, what do they need? Weapon, armor, equipment, etc. So to answer, do you guys make or assess your players' characters to see whether or not they might need specific gear? With this one, I'm going to start with Baron G Rock directly above me.
At times, yes. I mean, if you've got, a frontline fighter who's every single fight getting knocked down to almost no hit points, and, the healers just, having to basically expend all of their spells on keeping this one person alive, there's an issue. There's a big issue because the healer should be expending that on the entirety of the party, just not one player. So, you assess it, see, oh, well, maybe they need a little, oh, I know what they need. They need what every fighter needs. Dwarven plate mail, dwarven stone mail, boom, drop that right, or, drop that in front of them. And, they're good to go. They have no decks, but that's okay. You got a +9 to their AC, and they are never, ever going to be, hit. Stuff like that. I mean, and truthfully, as a GM, we do have that responsibility. I mean, if we're throwing, appropriate monsters, encounters, etc., and they're just, it's not working, and it's not the player because they've played in previous campaigns to where, this hasn't been an issue, but in this campaign, all of a sudden it has, then yes, you need to fully outfit them. You need to get them, wrapped up in their bubble wrap and then send them out into the world, because that's what they need. They need to be protected, whether it's armor, whether it's maybe a slightly better weapon, and you can do that, a lot through role play. You can also do that a lot through just, interactions of, they go to the store and they're looking through things and they go, oh, well, do you have any specials? Well, yes, I do have a special. This armor right here, which is, and the guy looks him over, yes, this looks like this would be better. It's actually half price because it's been sitting in my window for 5 years and no one has even looked at it. And I think this would work perfectly for you. This is not necessarily a sales pitch, but it'll make you harder to hit, and it'll also maybe free you up a little bit to be a little bit more mobile than what you are right now. Dropping that clue by 4 on their head to go, oh.
Okay. Kai, I know you said you don't do it anymore, but you did used to make magic items for players. Did you take into consideration, what their characters might need if there was some kind of lack?
Honestly, the thing here is that I know what my players can kind of, for the most part, do. So if the fighter is charging up there and getting himself murdered repeatedly to the point where it's almost just a running joke of him running into the building, being punched out the window, and then going, I'm going back in there. And I'm like, well, he's doing his job of blocking the access of the hallway. So he's doing his job. Continue to take the blows for everyone else. And if he's getting punched really hard and he can't figure out for himself that maybe he should buy himself some better gear or look for better gear. But I've also seen this recently where we had an entire party, 7 people, and with me just sitting here like this evil villain just sitting here in my chair going, no, continue. I want to watch you suffer. And having 7 people tell the fighter, stop being stupid. Here's how you boost your ace when they're sitting here with a whiteboard, drawing circles and putting numbers up on the wall to tell him that he needs to work on his armor class, work on his hit points, Figure out abilities to increase your survival. Here's how to use your class abilities and feats to not be meat who just gets punched in the face like Rocky Balboa who's tired.
Hey, I resemble that comment.
You're talking about you are that comment.
But when the guy runs in there with like wearing a t-shirt and not using a shield, and he's in there to go beat the tank, and he's like, I've got a lot of hit points, and I'm like, hit points go away real fast. You know that, right? Really fast. Especially when the guy who's built to beat the crud out of all of you shows up there and wields a small Christmas tree. He's going to ram at you in places that you don't want to be rammed with needles still. And
He's going to cherry chase your ass.
I am not comfortable being grappled that way.
Yeah, your 150 hit points ain't lasting long versus the blue spruce tree going up the wrong hole.
It's starting to look a lot like fuck this. I hate this time of year.
So when you have a bulletin board going up there saying, and in big print, someone has written, "You are stupid" across the board, and I'm like going, I can't write you a better billboard. The only way I can write a better billboard is to rent one of those digital billboards outside your job and tell you, buy better gear. You have the money, buy better gear. I know you've got the money. And then him, but I like shiny coins at large numbers. And I'm like, it's meant to be a resource for you to work on yourself. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is not coming out at every battle going, oh God, I just went 3 rounds with Sandman, and oh God, I hurt. So what's your favorite color? 7. Oh shoot, you beat the intelligence out of him. Oh yeah.
It tastes like purple.
I know. And his last moment before he's dead is literal. Before he passes out from pain and suffering, is just like, Godzilla's my dad. And you're like, what the fuck do I do? Do I just literally have a magical fairy just show up and throw gear at him? No.
I mean,
it could look like Judi Dench, and it could sound like Judi Dench. James,
from Scrooge?
I have to show you this new item. I believe this is going to help you.
Look, and the thing is, occasionally when I do give the players gear, it's like M from like a Bond movie. He's like, oh, it's a Q for a Bond. Like, M's like, go down to see Q. Q's like, hi, I'm here to give you gear. You may take these items, but return them to me, please, after the adventure. And the party, cool. A wristwatch that shoots fireballs? I like this. Wow. This coat can store my horse? Yes. Why would I need to store my horse? And here's me. Don't question it. I'm giving you something. It's supposed to be helpful. Why would I need to mount at... And I'm like, okay, fine. Obviously, Q can't help you. Your brain no longer functions. All you see is, does it give me better AC or better to hit? And here's me. No, I'm trying to give you all the tools you need to be... You know what? Fuck it. If you can't figure out what you need, obviously you got everything you want. You got everything you need. Your brain, all 2 cylinders and 1 gear that it runs in, fucking magically you can run this shit. But congratulations, there's the Nuremberg ring, and you're on a tricycle, and you're on a unicycle. Good luck.
Enjoy your
Okay.
36-mile lap.
I don't exactly enjoy it being
Out of the
above
nostrils, you forgot. Out of the nostrils shoots missiles.
really quick, Bruce. I don't enjoy being above Kai because when he goes on his rant, he's looking up, and it feels like he's looking at me when he's bitching.
He is.
There you go.
All right.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna hop over to Shadow next. So
The
custom
Shadow.
gear for players. Do you ever put custom gear in there to shore up or fix certain issues that a player might be having with their character?
Absolutely, absolutely. If they've done something exceptional, they've saved the town, the village, the kingdom, the universe, and they get their Star Wars medal ceremony at the end of New Hope, and the princess comes down and gives them a medal. Well, you can rest assured that medal or whatever that item is probably going to shore up one of their weaknesses, at least whatever their whatever they deserve, and would help them the most. I can't think of a better way, to give them that pat on the back that not only will they benefit from, but they might even treasure it more than some of these other items. You find a +3 sword, that's cool, but the princess or the king or someone important actually gave you this +2, but it also does this or that helps whatever weakness you might perceive or actually have. There's no better way. It's almost, they deserve it. They've earned it. They'll never forget it. Even if they someday, 20 levels down the road, they find something better, you can guarantee they're not going to pawn it. They're not going to, throw it away or just leave it in their bag of holding. They'll find some special place to mount it on a wall with a little plaque saying, how they got it, who gave it to them. The whole bit, it's actually, a great way to add some flavor to the story and, a reward for, doing the right thing at the right time, or, maybe they, like I said, save the kingdom, save the universe. I can't think of a better way to reward them.
Awesome. I'm gonna.
What?
I did not hear a word of that.
Good. Like, I would love to reward my players like that, but most of them are fucking retarded. So.
Do they ever
None of
watch
them
this?
watch the stream.
Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody
do they know you do this?
I'm safe.
For now.
Because they're retarded. We forgot. They're retarded.
They're retarded.
All right.
And you let them into your campaign. Why? Connolly says the excuse he's getting paid.
Look, they think they're smart and they're nice people, and for the most part they are, but boy, the ones who are smart don't need my help. The ones who need my help are too stupid to accept it.
Kai, your wife's not listening, right? You're not banging any of them, are you? Are you banging any of them?
No.
God, I hope not.
The important
Hey,
detail
whoa. Sometimes the dumb, pretty ones are,
Yeah.
everybody's got a
And
purpose
most
in
of
life.
his players are in high school.
Yeah. No. Laws.
Has that
here.
stopped anybody ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Laws.
To follow laws. Yes.
Hey, this is why
Yes,
I like college girls.
law-abiding citizens.
I get older, but they stay the same age.
Hey, maybe they were held back. Maybe they were held back a couple of years.
Look,
Maybe you got a
the word
different
here
age
is
of consent.
law-abiding citizen. Law-abiding citizen who's not a groomer. Let's go with that.
So,
Wow.
Connell.
Yeah, I didn't do
Well,
this.
up to you.
I didn't do this, and neither did you.
I'm gonna hop up to Connell on this one. So, do you ever provide magic items that shore up certain weaknesses or failings of characters?
Yes. Hold on, let me.
Okay.
Splitting. Okay.
You give the kid with ADD more sugar when you say shit like that, and you want him to be calm. Okay. Bad. Just
How do you
bad. Anyway. So, for your players that are not in the grooming point of view, wait, that's not right.
So you have players in our group.
They're well
Okay.
groomed because they comb themselves, but that's besides the point. Okay.
Just ask the question.
Hypothetically, I'm running a campaign where the paladin is just coming up short. Not by his own doing, just...
Is he a gnome?
No, he's human. He's human, and he's just coming up short. Where his stats are where they're
so he's a
supposed
halfling.
to be. No. Yeah, I get where you're going with that, but it's not a stature in short. It's more of the initiative he's coming up short because he's from an earlier edition. He's from a much nobler of time player.
When his wizards had pointy hats and staff the size of made of hewn oak.
Anyways,
but by the way, I'm gonna 1 second, Connell. I do need to say this: the views of Shadow and Sun is not indicative of either Bruce or myself, and any and all issues with his comments should be directed toward his channel. His channel is in if you're on my stream, down in the links.
Yep, I got his channel in the links too.
So
Just asking questions, guys. Just asking questions.
So he's having an issue with initiative because he's just not as dex friendly as, let's say, the Dex Monkey Dex Monkey Archer character is. So I would make him, let's say, not Boots of Haste, but something to bump up his dex. Not by a great deal, but I don't think there's actually any magical item out there that lets you completely affect initiative outright. I don't think there is. You can make one as a DM. I mean, you can do anything as a DM in theory.
I mean, you can make any magic item based on feat or spell in D&D.
Yeah. So let's say
you can pretty much do that in any system.
Of spurs, because all paladins are supposed to have spurs of prove initiative. And that's how I would help said player that's lacking and hasn't played anything since the nobler of the editions. That's how I would do it.
Okay. I guess down to Bruce. So now, Bruce, I know you've done this in the past. It may not be like a specific, like, hey, take this +5 sword of Bane and blinding light or whatever. But I know you've put items in players' paths because you've seen, where they're having issues at, and you intend for them to pick them up.
Yes, and I think that's really important whenever you have a game that's going. You want to have. You want the players to struggle, okay? Let's get this stated firstly. I want the players to have the hero's journey each and every campaign. I don't care if I run 10 million campaigns, hero's journey. So you're not going to win every fight. But if you're a fighter, at some point, I do want you to stumble onto at least a +1 sword. I do want you to have a stout shield. Maybe a shield that's specifically not for you, but it was for somebody like you in a similar position long ago, and therefore it's getting its purpose fulfilled. I think that's important in a game. I think that's important for a DM to recognize that. And as much as Kai is over there going, no, you don't ever, no. I'm pretty certain that his every new class he gets, he starts grooming them and getting them girded up and ready to actually have a wonderful item so they can take it to the big bad. I honestly feel that. Maybe he's not going to talk about that because this is his time to rant and explode and tell us how terrible Lightyear is as a movie. Or maybe he's just about, trying to chill out. It's the last hour of this stream and he's got to conserve his thoughts and try not to fall asleep. But I'm going to tell you that he does this and he does this in the game, and I can tell you Garrett does it in his game, and we all do this. We all set out little items you're going to stumble into. Either you'll have an encounter or it'll be at a store, but you're going to have a run-in with Destiny, and that's going to have a connotation that's going to help your character throughout the rest of his career. Garrett, I was going to zoom in on your puppy, but you let the dog down.
No, he ran away.
Both
He went down.
sense.
He went it down.
And Kai, I didn't mean to take away your thunder there.
Oh, no. The thing is that you're not wrong, but you're also. I would prefer to go with the idea of I'm giving them choice, rather than assume that I'm the Emperor from Star Wars and can see into the future, and go, I know exactly what you need. Here is the exact sword you're going to use. Here's the exact armor you're going to use. Here's the exact gear here's your accessories that you're going to use, for I have foreseen your build and your choices. No, I'm going to literally let you kill 25 people and have a plethora of gear and go, let's see here. What's the best? And then I sit back and go, all right, I see you've chosen the spear. You've chosen an interesting fate for yourself. They have chosen their doom or their blessing, or they just choose, I don't need to wear gear. I have starter gear. That's all. Oh my God, please just die faster. Please die faster. And please. But most of them are smart to go,
No.
He's going to give you your sword.
it's like, I'm not going, it's like,
Wow.
I'm not giving you your, like, and after a while, I might give you access to a master crafter who will let you craft something that is tailored to you. And that point, I am not the prophet of God in transferring his divine knowledge of what you're going to do in 3 weeks. Because I don't know what they're going to do. It's like, I could go, I have given you everything you need to save the world and the party. Let's go to Toys R Us. Wait, what? No. Plot, story, that way. I've given you all the tools you need to stop the evil villain's ascension. And the party. You know what? I don't need this. We're going to go off and go, beat up a used car dealership salesman today. Why? Because he's there and he robbed us. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't believe in the idea that I need to give you what you need to survive. I'm not going to give you what you want, because no matter what I give you, what I think you need, you're not going to use it. You're just going to be like, because unless I telegraph it, the Dark Lord of the Abyss is only defeated by this sword of silver and blessed holy goodness, and it was passed on by by an angel who told you, stab him repeatedly till he no longer breathes. And most likely half my party go, smart, okay, we use the sword. Hey, fighter, use the sword. No, not a sword, I use axe.
Now, did this angel sound like Christopher Walken?
Maybe.
Marsupials. They scare me.
It's like, or it just maybe literally Billy. I'm Billy Connolly just sitting here going, "Oh, come on now, motherfucker, just do something smart." And I just, it might just be Dennis Leary going, "Just fucking come on." And old Leary. It's one of those things where, unless you literally take down instructions on the sword, here is the armor you need. Please wear it because it will protect you from the evil villain you're about to encounter. Rogue, here's this cloak that we know you want and some poison. Good luck. Cleric, fuck it, you're already more powerful than everyone else. I'm not giving you shit because I give you shit every single day. And I bless and thank you so much, deity. Thank you for the power to decide who gets to live and die today. Yes, I, Crow T Robot, your god, allows you to decide who gets to live and die today. Actually, that's crows. But fuck it. No, I don't. No, I'm not giving them. No. Let them decide what they want. Let them pick through the bodies of the dead because you're all looters. You're not respecting the dead anyway. Fuck it. Just decide what you want, and then I'll adapt to it from there. Because now I know what you want, and I can start tailoring a little bit for you. That's what it is.
Come on, Stone Kai's lap and tell the DM what you want for Christmas.
And then
that actually gets into the second question I normally ask myself when I'm providing custom gear for characters specifically. And that second question is, if I provide the characters custom gear, how do I tie it into the campaign? Or is it just toss away gear? So what I mean by that is, I always try to tie major equipment to the campaign in some meaningful way. Most other gear, it's just toss away bullshit. Like, okay, yeah, you find potions of cure, potions of restoration, whatnot. But the major items I always try to tie into the campaign. So is that something any of you do? Do you if you do give a custom piece of equipment to a player's character, how do you tie it into the game? For this, I'm going to start with here. Who have I not started with yet? I don't think I've started with Kai yet.
No.
Okay,
and I give you a really
Kai,
fast answer. I cannot, no matter how much I do the voice of God thing and literally throw it at you, I cannot give you any more value than you're willing to put it into yourself. If you don't bother to put any value into it, I can give you a 40-page backstory that will tell you what this item can do, what its historical and sentimental feeling is. What age it was forged by and by what crafter, what wars it's fought through, and then a player goes, "This is a pretty cool weapon," and then 5 levels, I'm gonna get something better, and it's going on the wall, and I'm like, why? Well, obviously this +2 sword can't keep up with the fact that our damage curve and versus AC is not sufficiently enough to be able to meet the current threat. So it's going to be a cool backup weapon in the event that I lose my current primary weapon, but it's a cool. I know. It's something important. It's very, very valuable, and I know it's got sentimental value, and perhaps I will attach to it sentimental value. But right now, it's just a cool sword, and if I make it more valuable, so I can't just simply go, "You are now bound to this weapon for all time, this sword, this armor, this item for all time, and it will be with you forever until you find something better," and then. Like I played a Diablo game, throw it in a goddamn trash compactor and go, "That was cool," and walk off. Now, some players go, "This is a historical artifact. I will use it and then put it back into a glass box and never touch it again because it has some supreme cultural and historical value. It belongs in a museum." And then other players who will go, "Hey, cool. Hey, pawn shop guy, can I put this in for a better weapon?" No, you can't. I'm going to go find somebody who is I'm going to go find the black market now and trade it in for a better weapon now. And then do a Muppet walk off stage. And you're like, oh, fuck. Okay. Bye. So it's up to the players and up to me as a GM to give them a value, but for the most part, I assume that everything I give them is going to end up in a trash compactor. And I'll just because I've noticed that players, when you start getting all heavy-handed on them and be like, "This is an important item," and they'll either go, "This is something very important. I should use this," or they will go, "You're trying too hard, GM. You're trying way too hard to push me, and I don't like. And my desire for free will says I should rebel and flee from whatever you're trying to set me up for because it's not going to be good. It will not be in my plans. So I'm going to choose free will over divine intervention. So fuck you, God, gone." And then they'll run. So
This is fantasy RPG. Where the fucking free will come from?
I'm not going there.
We got to get Kai some better players. We got to get Kai some actual better players. I'm just shaking my head. You tolerate crap that I wouldn't tolerate one single time, but repeatedly.
The good that I get is far outweighs the bad. For every bad bullshit thing that I gotta deal with, I get players who ask good questions, who write down lore, who investigate.
This is the first I've heard of it. This is the first I've heard.
First we're hearing of that.
But the thing is,
I hear nothing but shit.
I
haven't known you that long, but
on the things that are pitfalls. I can sit back here and go, everything is sunshine and bunny rabbits, except for the 2 players who are fucking retarded.
Just 2?
Out of 8 players, I have 6 who are brilliant, and that is a firm 80% success rate, and I should be happy, and I usually am, but we're talking about the 20% who ruin everything. Well, you could just throw them out, and you're right, I could. And I could continue to throw out because over the years, I've had plenty of the bad ones. I've had mountains of the bad ones. Not just the current group, but groups in the past. People who aren't even friends of the people who I'm currently GM for. And most of them have this mentality. You just can't escape it. I've gone to gaming stores and encountered this mentality. I've encountered my bill. There's a reason why I don't go to gaming stores and go play any of those stupid wank fests about playing society games, because that's all about being a fucking wank fest. And then having played this game of, dear GM, can I please have a gear upgrade? Does the module allow this so that way I can do better? Please? And the GM, no, I am the arbitrator of what you are allowed to have. Here is your pittance. Be happy that I have granted you this boon and figure out how to use it.
Damn.
And here's me. You're fucking simps. You're a fucking piece of shit. I don't want to play with either of you. Or if I go sit down in someone's group and be like, cool, I get to play. And then I get to encounter GM who goes, this is how I've granted it. Some horrible, I have decided what you will get. You will use it and not, and be happy. If you don't like it, you can leave my table. Never return. I do not want you around in my group, for you are questioning the will and the divine might of my GM greatness and brilliance. And do I get a choice on what I want to do? No, you're at my table. You're playing my game. You have no free will. Get on the roller coaster, ride your little ride, and keep your hands and feet in the car at all times, or I will decapitate you. Think you can.
This is like going to Six Flags, only if it was ran by rage, ranting, and slight alcoholics.
I got to play a character for once. And the GM, because I was doing the things that I would want to see a player do, aka question, investigate, and the GM got fed up and goes, and you died. And the guy just literally, and my character just evaporated. I spent a long time building a good character, or at least an interesting one, and figuring out the themes and all this stuff for it. Doing all the work that I would encourage. So that way I could show this player, this is what I'm aspiring towards seeing you do. And then having a GM go, no. Bam. Explosions, you died. Do I get to come back? No. You don't get to come back. You annoyed me, and therefore you died. And here's me. Well, fuck you. Fuck you too. Fuck you. Fuck your game. Fuck your mentality. Fuck your I am the supreme being in all creation geniusness. So all this shit I have decided what is and isn't allowed on this planet, in this reality, and all things come through me, for I am the creator being. And please ask me permission. Simp for me, kiss the ring, and I may grant you a good item. And me, fuck you. Fuck you. Free will. I will stab you because you're God. But I'm no. I'm a GM in real life. No, I'm going to stab you, the person, so I can kill God and be free. Or I will leave the table and never return, which is obviously what everyone wants. Either suck my dick and do what I say to be at my table, or leave and never return. Because that is the only option we have. Be a simp or leave. No. You chose to be at my table. I'm running for you until you choose to leave. I don't care. Because we're having a game. We're playing it. You're going to have fun playing that. I don't want to have simps. I don't want to have players who come and bring me gifts because I'm the game master. Here's a gift because I love you, GM. Please be merciful upon my stupidity. No. No. I am not the Pope. I am not God. I am here running the world. You're playing in it. You're enjoying your character in the world I grant you. And if you choose to do something in it, you have free will to do it. To be more, to be an interesting being rather than sit here and wait for me to give you permission to do something nice. Please be nice, be fun. GM, can I please have something cool happen to me? No. We're currently in the middle of module 3, section 2, and this map sheet. You need to complete the Scooby adventure before I allow you to have some downtime for yourself to do something fun. Fuck you. Fuck you. If I choose that your adventure is a boring pile of shit and I decide to walk off that way and convince everyone else that this is a boring pile of shit and we're walking away that way, no, but my module, my adventure I've already scripted. It sucks. The rest of the world's over here. We're going, you're getting off the ride. You can't get off the ride. Fuck. Here's us. I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't care about anything. Just I'm here to play my character, and I'm here to enjoy the world you created. If you can't create a good world, if you can't create an interesting environment, fuck off. I don't care about your shit. I don't care about your fucking handout items. I'm here to make my hero's journey is the world that I tore bleeding out of its own existence and made it mine. You're the referee of the world. That's it. You create the world that we're playing in. If you choose that, and if your idea is we don't get free will, that we are just slaves trapped in your narrative, that we can't go anywhere else, and I don't want to play in that game because that game sounds like shit. But unfortunately, that is what 9/10 of every game we ever fucking play. Every GM who fucking ever runs is fucking play my fucking game. You have no free will. You only get to have fun whenever I allow you to have a moment of fun. You cannot have your own ambitions. You cannot have your dreams. You cannot have your own goals. Your goals, your dreams, your ambitions are whatever the fucking module is. Here's your fucking module. Complete the module, and I will give you your fucking candy cane at the end. Be happy with your +2 sword and your +1 armor, because that's the reward at the end of the fucking module. That's all you fucking get.
And a gold star to put on your armor. A sticker.
Yes, gold star for being a good fucking player.
Anyone else want to jump in? I know we're getting close to the 2-hour mark.
I think, truthfully, I think after that is I don't think any of us can follow that. I think that's a good place to go ahead and uncouple the car. I think we've hit what we needed to hit tonight.
We can continue this topic next week. How's that sound there, Jade?
Sure.
I don't think that's a good idea. No, I'm gonna be blatantly upfront. You know, I had thought that this topic could be a great item or a great thing to talk about for any game master who wants to, provide in-game, custom gear, or, let's say they have like this idea of this grand adventure around this one artifact that the players don't know what it does, doesn't know how to function it, or
Well, it's an
work
artifact,
with
so you're
it.
not going to get
They
the
have
answers right
to,
away.
huh?
It's an artifact. You don't get the answers right away. It's a
Right.
quest just to find the fucking what's the item do, and that's a quest in and of itself.
Right. So that's where I was kind of imagining where this would go, but obviously 4 of you don't like throwing magic items that are custom into the games at all. So I'm going to consider this one dead. This is a dead topic.
I hope you don't. I hope you don't hate us for that. But I mean,
No. I got some pretty good insight on how you guys structure your games and how you really don't care about the magic items that players utilize or
they're
are willing
incidental.
to.
They're incidental.
But
They're
some of them
incidental.
can be. My third question for specific custom loot for players would be, where's the gear coming from? Is it a marketplace? Is it an enemy has this item, so on and so forth. But I think we've covered everything we need to cover on this.
Well,
And
I wasn't able to answer the throwaway one, and I actually punished my players in the past for throwing away magical items because it might have been a key to something in the future. But that's just me. And for the last one, I don't really have an answer for it at the top of my head.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's a good wrapping up point. We can decide on the next topic, either off camera or on camera, whatever you guys decide.
I think we should. Go ahead, Bruce.
I was thinking we probably do that off camera because we probably need to just, if nothing else, we want to go over like a list of things we could check out, and that typically involves us sharing screen over to Gilded, so we could do our outros here. I've got everybody's links in the chat or in the context of the description, so anybody
I
who's
also do.
interested in following this, click on our links. Check us out. Jade, I did not put your link in because the content is it.
I don't have anything yet.
Once you get that amended, you're going to be with the rest of us.
Sure. I need to find time to sit down, record, and edit. So
I get it. I have half of a third of a book I've got to read, and I haven't made time for that for over a year. So I understand. I think it was pretty interesting to hear everybody's thought processes to putting equipment in a campaign, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that part there made me value you guys quite a bit more as peers in this grand game of crafting and the getting a narrative and a story to the players. No, we don't all agree. That's fine.
No.
We're supposed to.
I wasn't expecting us all to agree.
God, I would be bored shitless.
Yeah, that would be very boring if everyone agreed with everyone all the time.
And I mean,
no discourse.
We need to have points, where like Kai stands on this mountain alone over here. Bruce is in this valley way over there. Connell and G-Rock are kind of palling around in the countryside. And then you have Jade and Shadow making their way towards Shelob. We might not stand everywhere at once. It's quite okay. I'm all right with that. Connell, what do you got going on this week?
Other than the obvious, tomorrow being probably hanging out with Max. Saturday, I'm going to have a conversation, because I think Max is right on the wordage, conversation with a vet friend of mine on how playing RPGs can help a vet get back, how RPGs can help a vet get back into the civilian world for stress relief and other things of that nature. That will be Saturday. Then Sunday, me and Shadow will be reviewing the 1980s. What the fuck did they put in not David Bowie, Sting's hair to make it stick up like that? The Dune. And that's it.
The answer to that question, what was in his hair, is in the movie Something About Mary.
Get out of my brain. I was going to say that myself.
I think, yeah.
Shadow and Son. You and your son have been prolific as hell on YouTube lately, and you guys just hit 300 subscribers. Congratulations!
Thanks,
300
sir.
honest subscribers.
And we're gonna bust that. We'll be hot on your tail as soon as I can figure out a couple of things. Tomorrow I've got another Arduin review. I'm actually running low on them because I've just about covered everything until Emperor's Choice hands me the next books, which hopefully will be pretty soon, because otherwise I'll start jonesing for that. I'll be hanging out with all you guys over Legion of Myth tomorrow night, hopefully. Saturday is like probably my one day off I have a week. So I'll be hanging out with the family, probably doing stupid shit like grocery shopping. Sunday, back hanging out with Colin, my son, doing a review of the movie Dune, which we just watched today. And then we start a whole nother week with just about a video, if not two, every day now. And once I get StreamYards fixed and figured out, I will be doing an interview show with some people in the industry that I'm friends with. And then when I hit up all those guys, then I'll start interviewing each of you lucky bastards.
Well,
We'll be calling it 20. We'll be calling it 20 questions, and I'll hand you the list of questions beforehand, and hopefully they won't be too personal.
Completely fine with that.
I think it'll be a great way for all of our friends out here to get to know each of us just a little bit better. And it's not going to be, all personal questions, but it's not going to be all game questions. There are things about each of you I'd like to know, and that's why I'll hand you the questionnaires first. So if you don't want to touch that question, that's perfectly fine.
Sure, that completely understandable. And I mean, a lot of us have been interviewed on other channels before. I was on Biggest Geekus about 3 months ago, and Baron Orman Tog, who's a really good guy, and just a lot of us have been making rounds, and so I mean, I think that'll be another brick of content in your wall of content that you're making there, Shadow, and that's pretty badass.
It's something I've wanted to do for a while since I met most of you, and I've made some commitments with some companies, and they want me to interview them first to help promote their products. But I'm going to probably alternate between companies and friends back and forth in no particular order. I don't want to play any kind of favorites with you guys. I may draw your names out of a hat. So just be ready. Gesundheit.
Sure.
Yep.
We will be waiting for that, and bless you, Kai. Bless you, Saint Kai. Jade, I know that you're still putting together things. What are you working on right now you're willing to talk about?
So it has been suggested to me that I make an intro video, kind of, I guess, a 5-minute video that kind of tells about me, about my I guess my history, or my connectivity to gaming and whatnot. After that, my first actual video I want to make is, what does it mean to me to be a master of the game, where I talk about some of the absolute bare minimums a game master needs to keep in mind, especially a new game master, to be able to run a game.
Okay, that sounds like it'd be actually a good project, and really Whenever it comes to a panel topic that I'm comfortable with, I'll run with it, or whoever expresses the desire to do it. But I'm going to say that you and Connell both are really strong at being MCs and keeping a video focused, keeping the panel on track. So if you were wondering, that's how I feel. I have no problem saying that in public at all.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
With that being said, I know you guys you're just now in your early stage of designing videos, and Shadow's kind of right there with you. He's been doing it for maybe 18 months or less, but you guys do really good on camera.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's something to be positive.
I would kind of disagree, because I've tried recording my own stuff a couple times now, and I'm just not happy with the outcome. I think I do better with interaction with people.
I'm right there with you, Jade. I think I sound like an idiot when I just record, mainly because I am. But I need somebody to bounce off with. I need the proverbial whiteboard for these things.
Try writing a book that sells barely in the 700 numbers category. And then after you've spent your gas money, 10 years later, you get on the internet and you start reading it to people. And you realize just how bad of an editor you are.
Oh, yeah.
I'll teach it one of these days.
Kai. The only thing I can say about it is for both Connell and Jade, don't overthink it. The minute you start seriously, the minute you start overthinking it, it goes downhill.
It's not an overthinking issue. I stumble over my own words a lot. I may not stumble over my words on camera with you guys, but that's because everything I'm saying, I'm shooting from the hip. But when I want to actually talk about a topic, or make my own content, I want to stay on that topic. And sometimes I will ramble and get off tangent. And without editing software up to this point, every time I've gone off on these tangents, I don't have a way of clipping it out and getting back to my main topic. So that's been my primary issue.
Crafty says scripts.
I have actually written scripts. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of play acting or theater experience, so I can't really memorize the things I want to say, especially when it's over a half hour long. Like my first script that I've written for an episode is about 2 pages of text. I can actually do a word count. It's on my Google Docs. So there's a lot I want to say. I just keep stumbling over my words. So
I think you're overthinking it. I'm not trying to be super critical or just broad brushy, but I'm telling you that you shoot from the hip, you're going to hit the target more often than not.
Oh, I know that's my problem. I overthink damn near everything. Did I put enough salt in that? What does she mean? She likes the way I smile at her.
I've actually turned my phone into a teleprompter, and I'm looking at the camera right now, but what the camera doesn't see is a plane of glass at a 45-degree angle that I can shove my phone into this shadow box and have text appear in front of the camera. So I've actually made myself a teleprompter. It's not beam splitting glass, unfortunately. It's just plain glass, but my text is big enough that I can get around the double image issue.
Fair enough. I'm sure Baron G-Rock probably have some ideas for us later on. Here, use this.
Oh my God.
Here, use this.
Yeah, and I've actually got a teleprompter app that reverses and flips my text to the right orientation, so that when I'm looking into the glass at the camera, it's the correct way around. So,
okay. Baron G-Rock. What?
Doing things and stuff.
Stuff and things he's doing.
Yes.
Stuffing things.
Now,
Stuffing
one
things
thing
that
I will do, because I'm going to go ahead and shill this out. I do have memberships available over on my channel.
Yay!
There is a $9.99 level also. So if you think you would like to appear possibly in a video of playing a video game with me, or actually here on Tablebreakers, that's a way in right there, guys. Just saying.
Think about it. I used to RPG with this guy for free. Now I get to like that. Now I have to pay. Yay!
Yeah.
Ooh-wee!
Don't you feel special?
Kind of whorish, actually. But yeah.
Garrett, whatever you did in the last week, thanks a lot. I'm at 900 some odd subscribers right now, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there last week. Thank you. Whatever you shared it on, appreciate that.
Oh, speaking of things, I don't know if DM James is still in the chat. Well, go fuck yourself too, Mr. Cigar Box. Anyways, he was nice enough to send me the 2D20 Conan. No, it's just Conan RPG book, which I will be taking time over the next couple of weeks and sitting down and going through this and probably building a character. It might be a video I make on how to make. Can you teach old dogs the new trick type of video about building a character in this one. I am actually really much looking forward to it. Thank you again, DM James. I was drooling. This is why it still has the plastic wrap on it. I don't need my drool to spoil it quite yet. But yeah, I just want to thank you again.
So that means you'll be running Conan 2D20 sometime, and you won't have.
That means I might be doing your favorite, Blazing Saddles in the World of Conan 2D20.
Oh my god!
Mixed with a little Quantum Leap and a whole lot of let's get the DM drunk.
I'm going to get a moist napkin and I'm going to give it to the Strippers Guild for this. They are going to love it. It will be much better than cats. Okay. Kai, you're kind of like me. Like, I have ideas for videos. Don't really get around to them much. And I go ahead.
I have a promoter right there. I'm going to treat him almost like, that guy. There we go. That guy, who's kind of like the my WWE manager who will take care of all the shit for me because I'm incompetent otherwise. Right, there we go.
That's kind of funny. You kind of do look like that one guy that used to run around with a honky tonk man. I can't remember that guy's name. The rest
Jimmy Hart?
Mouth the South.
We're gonna go.
I'll remember his name as soon as the broadcast is over, I swear.
That's how it works.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart.
Oh, that's not who I was
Mouth
thinking.
of the South.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart, you're right.
Okay.
Look, all I gotta do is get up on stage, get punched whenever he tells me to, and then have him cheer for me. It'd be great.
Oh God, he's like a retired boxer with dementia. No,
I don't have dementia.
Not dementia yet. That's coming.
Well, I really appreciated you tonight, and I was laughing my ass off. I had to mute a lot of it because once you started going, I can't be laughing in my damn microphone. That sounds canned. So I have to mute. And as much as other people might find your rants distasteful or, oh God, he's ruining the spirit of the game. No. Guy is writing or going from the hip from an angle that, like, this is a guy that runs a game every week. And a lot of times the players are not there for like a long-term thing. They're there to get a college credit or something. And they're there in the process. They manage to ruin the experience for the GM and some of the other players involved. So he's coming at this from an attitude of like, "Argh!" So I get it. I get it, you know. And I don't want you to lose the love of the game. You know, I one of these days I would love you to be able to play a game that you actually enjoy running or playing in. That's where I want to help you get to next. Because right now I don't think you're having fun. I think you're kind of like that duck at the Amish farm where if you put a coin in the duck box, a little duck light turns on and the duck has to dance. And so it's there dancing angrily at you. And then after 10 seconds of dancing, it cues a treat for the duck to eat. And as soon as that happens, the light goes off. And the duck's like, fuck you, waddles off stage with a treat in its mouth. I think, and I hate to think that way because I know you're a damn good GM. I know you're a good storyteller. And I don't think you've got your group of players that are seeing on the same level as you are.
My problem is finding a group that will actually let me have fun. At the level that I want to have fun. I don't have it. I can't find that group. I really want to, but I can't. Because wherever I go, I'm going to continue to find more people who are like my players. And I go, can I just clone? Okay, you three over there, can I clone you and make a group? That's who I want to play with. Unfortunately, there's the other 5 of you. If an accident happens on the highway and you disappear for the rest of my life, I won't care. I won't miss you.
That sucks.
I never will. But I won't say that out loud, and I will be quite content with that.
I think that I don't know. I mean, I've definitely played with people in the past. How we all have that would, rather never see them again. Just never see them again. To be completely honest.
But the thing here, it really just comes down to. So I'm coming to the game to play. Well, first stage Tolkien. If I'm going to play fantasy, I want to play. The game of a Game of Thrones. I want to try to overthrow the Emperor in Dune. I want to aim for here, way high, but everyone else is down here at we're killing rats, and that's where the aspiration stops at with most people. Is we're here playing like I want to play Grand Admiral Thrawn. I don't want to play lackey working up to Thrawn. I want to play Thrawn because I've been GMing too long. I will analyze. I will sit back and look at the GM and go, what's their culture? What is their art form like? I can see that you prefer this and this, and your music is like this. I can estimate now what your culture is like. I can now figure out how I'm going to defeat you. And the GM, that's too much logic. I must throw a kink in the works. Arrgh. And here's me, because everyone else is just here to follow you and be. So I'm either confined to being a background person because I don't want to overshadow everyone, or I'm just going to be frustrated endlessly. So I might as well GM forever, because at least when I'm GMing, I can at least put in hours and hours and hours of work that nobody will ever see. Nobody will ever care. They'll see a small fragment of the grand machine operating in the background. And I'll be okay with. I'm not okay with this, but I'll make do. And then when somebody asks, "Could you what's going on in the background?" I'm like, "Are you ready for an education session? Are we on a car ride for the next 4 hours?" Yes, you're trapped with me. Now I'm going to talk for 4 hours, and you're going to shut the fuck up and not say a goddamn word. Okay, we're good here.
Are we there yet?
No. You'll get 2 rest stops on the trip. You better make use of them.
With that, I want to conclude this video, and I want you guys that are out there in YouTube land to understand that burnout for DMs is real. Burnout for a lot of things is real. When you start feeling like what you're doing for fun is work. I want you to take an analysis, a serious analysis of what you're doing, and is it healthy for you? And if it's not, you need to open up and get some help. If it's not helping you get through the week, but if it is helping you get through the week, if killing off lambs of players and murdering their familiars and putting them in pit traps after they demand to be in combat wheelchairs because they want to win the fucking dungeon, and you just let them go down the stairs and hit all the ramps the wrong direction at best inertia, and they try to Evil Knievel their way through a dungeon and they end up dying, and you just kind of snicker and laugh. If you're able to do this with any aspect of fun or enjoyment, keep at it. Okay. Our hobby's under assault. Our hobby is under assault. It's one of the pieces in the culture war. You need to be aware of that. You can try to find better players. There are players out there that are starving for a great group, and they're looking for a good dungeon master or storyteller, however you view it. I want you guys that are out there to understand that. And if you see us in chat, you see us in Discord, you want to talk to us, or you think you have a problem, if you need help, reach out to someone. They'll listen to you. There's help out there if you need it. And this world certainly is not friendly like it used to be. With that being said, anybody here want to escort us out while I end the broadcast?
Sure, I'll do it. Now, my typical one, I'll go with my typical Sunday one. Everybody be good to each other. If you can't be good to each other, at least, be nice to each other. Other than that, roll your dice in the dark and write your character sheet in crayon, preferably red.